Hey guys, I'm out here roasting again tonight, so thought I'd share a quick little video. Nothing too much, but actually, I want to show you a pretty cool card that I got about a month ago. I'll show it here in a second. But being a Pirates fan, one of the things that I've enjoyed doing is just collecting more of the Pirates cards from back when they were back when they were contending. And of course, one of those guys is Dave Parker, and I love collecting Dave Parker's cards, but I love hearing his stories too. And I was listening to an interview about him, and he was talking about a particular story that enticed me. So I did some looking around and just found out a little bit more about it. I'm not going to share much of the story. Some of you will probably know, probably most of you will know the story, but this is his 1978 card. In 1978, he was sliding into home plate and broke his jaw, and so he was out for a couple of weeks, and the Pirates didn't want to play him. Um, and so they eventually did, but they first wouldn't let him practice, and he'd like go off and sneak off into to go bat somewhere else, just just so he could get his reps in. And if you know anything about Dave Parker, you'll know that he was kind of old school when it came to these things. He didn't like to take time off for injuries and those, and so he was a little irritated and wanted to get back as quickly as he could. This 78 happened to be he had his batting leaders. I love that card, him and Rod Carew together. But anytime you got two great players like that on the same card, it's pretty awesome. But anyway, so he so this year, he ended up being the MVP for the National League that year. And so he goes out for about 2 weeks, and then in order to come back, he was really pushing to come back. And in order to come back, they said he had to have some sort of protective wear. And so what they did was they told him that if he could find some kind of protective wear, then he could come back and play. So he ended up wearing a hockey mask. Um, and so this is in 1978, and he finds a hockey mask. He and somebody like one of the guys that help with their uniforms and whatnot. Anyway, so he gets his hockey mask and he paints it black and yellow. If you can look it up, you can find pictures. I'll see if I can get something on the screen here, like an actual picture of it. And I was thinking about it as I was reading the story, and you can imagine if this happened today. Tops now would have a card before the game was over. You'd be able to go online and buy a card with a picture of him wearing this hockey mask. He ended up switching to a football helmet later on, but if you look at pictures of him in this hockey mask, he just looks, well, frankly, he looks pretty menacing. And he was already pretty menacing. He was a big dude. He was like 6'5" and 235 pounds or something like that. He's a big, very big, intimidating guy. So he comes in with his hockey mask, and he comes in the 11th inning, and they walk him, like they intentionally walk him. They didn't want any part of Dave Parker. He must have looked pretty intimidating. So anyway, so when I was reading about this story and hearing about this story, I was looking around for a card, because surely somebody made a card, and I just couldn't find one, and Topps didn't have any. I mean, there are pictures, but they didn't actually make any cards or anything like that. I found something that somebody had made, but anyways, I kept looking and looked around, and what I ended up finding was this. This is a card from Project 70, and what they did was they have artists come in and they would do these pictures. And this is a guy by the name of let's see, Alex Party, and he did several cards for them. A lot of them kind of horror, Halloween horror type themes of cards. And so you have to imagine that for somebody like this, and this actually comes. This is a photo. This is essentially, he just took a photo and made a drawing of it, of Dave Parker. And I love that card. And so as soon as I found it, I said, oh, I've got to have that card. And so I went on eBay and ended up winning one. I didn't think I was going to. I'd put a bid in on a couple, and they're not expensive, but just went over what I wanted to pay. And then one night I put a bid in for this one, and sure enough, woke up the next morning, and I had won it. And I put a bid in for under what I'd bid the other ones for, and just ended up being just pretty excited about that. Anyway, just a super cool card. I'm really excited about these. There are some of these Project 70 cards that I really like the looks of, and might end up picking up some more of them as I go. But anyway, just wanted to share this cool little story and this card of Dave Parker. Thanks for watching if you did, and hopefully we'll do another one sometime soon.